Handlebars Musky Lures proudly presents Ben McQuinney Outdoor Radio on the Reno Viola Web Radio Network. A look across Canada at the people and manufacturers that make up our great Canadian sport fishing industry, with tips and stories along the way.
Folks, we're actually having an impromptu tasting with No.7 Hot Sauce from Toronto. I have Carlos and Sandra. Carlos, welcome to the show. It's great to have you.
Thank you. Pleasure being here.
I am absolutely impressed with what you have as a lineup for your hot sauces. They're full of flavor. They're versatile. They're not over the top, but yet there's a hint of danger. Can you tell us a little bit about the history and how you got into it and the name and all that good stuff?
Well, ever since I came to Canada, people have always, asked me, can you make us hot sauce? First thing, where you're from? Mexico. Oh, do you know how to make hot sauce? Of course. So then I started making hot sauce for friends and family, and people always said, you get the usual. Oh, you should bottle this. You should do something with this. Maybe you could sell this. And you're like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. Never thought about it until one day Sandra brought it up. She's like, that hot sauce of yours, you should really think about doing something with it. We own an espresso bar in Toronto. It's Cafe con Leche Espresso Bar.
Okay.
We're known for the Nutella latte.
Oh, that sounds yummy.
Yeah, it's a little bit of Nutella, coffee, and steamed milk. If you look us up, you'll find us there. And out of that shop, we started making the hot sauce just out of regular mason jars, like everybody would.
Yeah.
Put it on the shelf.
Like moonshine.
Yeah, exactly. But hotter.
But hotter.
So we started making it there, put it on the counter, and a month later, we sold over 200 units. And we had one customer come in and say, I've tried your hot sauce. I own a butcher shop. I'd like to carry this, but you guys need to look into proper labeling, the whole deal. At first, I didn't want the work of it. There's a lot of work involved behind the scenes. People don't realize. You got to follow a lot of rules.
Yeah.
And
it's health and safety. It's food. It's people's lives.
For sure. And Sandra and I don't like to do anything that under the table or halfway. So we looked at it and we're like, you know what? If we do it, let's do it well. So we're here basically a year later. We're going to celebrate 1 year next week with No.7 Hot Sauce. And we were thinking of launching one new sauce for the new year for 2014. We ended up with 6 new sauces in total.
Oops.
That's what happens when you go to California and you hang out in the sun and friends and family. And we ended up making hot sauce there too for friends and family. And we came back with the idea, okay, let's launch some more flavors. If people want it hotter, you tried 2 of our hottest ones today. As you saw,
I survived.
You survived.
It didn't ruin my voice. I thought I was going to have blackout, but I survived.
Yeah. And as you can see, that last one, it's a slow one, right? But it gets you.
Oh, it does.
So we use all Mexican peppers. It's based on a recipe that it's a family recipe. So it's traditional. There's no infusions. There's no overload on any sugar or salt. It's keeping every ingredient in the recipe and letting them all shine and come together. The other thing that we use is the pasilla pepper for our new barbecue pasilla barbecue sauce.
I love that barbecue sauce.
Which you can use as a dip, you can use a marinade, you can use as a finishing. We use jalapenos for our jalapeno with tomatillo, and we use the habanero, which is a sweet pepper, believe it or not.
No.7. You had said something. It was funny. Tell us again the No.7.
Well, the thing is, with hot sauces, keeping true to the idea of the brand, where it's clean, natural, it's a family business, but at the same time we wanted to keep it trendy, but respect the sauce. We were thinking about different names, trying to use my personal Twitter handle, Dr. Carlios. I said, that's going to be kind of annoying. We thought about different names, and one day I was going through a magazine, and there was beautiful No.7 in Old English writing, and I said, that looks really cool. But I said, I don't want it to have like this, total Mexican theme to it. I don't want it to be like this, East LA theme to it, although I'm from California. I'm like, that's the past. We're in the future. I said, I said, Sandra, what do you think of No.7 Hot Sauce? And we started with that. Now it's been renamed 2014 No.7 Mexican Hot Sauce because it is a Mexican hot sauce. We want people to realize that it's a Mexican recipe. So the name came between both of us, and everybody said, oh, I like the name, I like the look, I like the logo. The No.7 mobile is plastered with No.7 Hot Sauce on it. Twitter handle at No.7 Hot Sauce. Toronto likes it hot. Now Waterloo likes it hot.
Waterloo likes it hot.
Vincenzo's here in Waterloo picked up the whole line, so they have it there. And with the name, it's just, we like the number. And what you were asking me is, we eat the sauce 7 days, 7 ways. And
7 days and 7 ways.
And then you rest on the 8th.
And you rest on the 8th, yeah. No doubt. So now we can enjoy No.7 Hot Sauce from Toronto, now in Waterloo at Vincenzo's. I'll post the links and information on where we can get some of your great sauce, and I can't wait to work with that barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
And it goes on pizza, it goes on fish, it goes on everything. It's so versatile.
I even put the No.7 original in my morning orange juice or grapefruit juice. Just a few little drops just to give you a little bit of heat to wake you up, to open up the sinuses.
And if anybody doesn't believe this is Mexican hot sauce, Carlos showed up in a sombrero. So.
And my mariachi over here, Sandra. And the other thing too, if you cannot come to the area to Toronto, we have our website www.No.7hotsauce.com. You can also order online.
Perfect. And we'll figure out a way to maybe get some lucky No.7. Not lucky. Well, it is lucky. It kind of is. You hit it off in 1 year, and No.7 Mexican hot sauce is where it's at.
Thank you.
All right. Folks, stick around. We got more coming up right after this.
From the class to the water, building women's confidence in the outdoors one seminar at a time. Start building yours today at fishing101forwomen.ca. Out here, the choice is clear. Angler's Choice. Visit them today at anglerschoice.ca. Book your trophy mission today with KeysTrophyFishing.com.
All right, folks, welcome to Ben McQuinney Outdoor Radio right here on the Reno Viola Outdoor Radio Network. Next guest is Bassmagnet IceTeam member and 5-year veteran of the Canadian Ice Fishing Championship, placing 10th this year. Matt Mitchell. Matt, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on, Ben.
Pleasure. Now, we met up day one at the weigh-in, and what were your thoughts that day when we what was going through your head knowing that this was a 2-day run and gun tournament?
Well, Ben, I'm sitting on the dock there, and you walked up. I had a lot of thoughts going through my mind. One, that I thought we were in a pretty good position to put ourselves in a really good spot on day two, figuring we were near the top with some decent perch. Not what we expected, but we grinded through the day, and we're managing our 15 perch. And we believe we had the lunker for the day as well. So sitting on the dock, we thought, things look good. We're just going to go out and do our thing and catch some big fish the next day, lake trout and whitefish, and things looked up.
That's awesome. Now, for our listeners out there, what was the morning like for you on day one? Like when I got there, I had no idea what to expect. It was my first time there, and I met up with 2 other IceTeam members, McNaught and Heen, and we kind of rubbed shoulders there, and they were kind of itching to get out there. What was the ice like when you got out there on day one?
Well, the ice, being late in the season as it is, it was pretty thick. It was a little rough on top for travel because of the conditions we had. We had a warm spell that froze up everything after when it got tight again. It got really cold, actually, and that morning was pretty frosty, and she had a good wind going, too. So it was a challenge to get out there and get set up and whatnot, and once we got set up, that's when the winds really picked up, and conditions on the ice worsened by the minute.
The best and most muskie-friendly leaders on the market today. Remember the name, huskymuskie.ca.
And gusts were going up to, I believe, 70 to 80K, and our little tiny portable huts were barely staying still. My partner's was almost flipped 2 or 3 times with them sitting in it, and, well, it was time to bunker down.
Yep. I know being out there on foot, as soon as you turned your face to the wind, it was just getting burnt. I still have a wind tan.
No doubt.
So, now technique. What was your go-to technique on day one?
Well, day one, I started off with McGathy's Hook Slab Grabber. I just got to set up with a sponsorship from these nice people, and what I did was I sent down the spoon, and right away on the first drop, up comes a decent perch. Okay, game on, folks. And I drop her down again, and another perch comes up. And I started catching, quite a few decent-sized perch, and all of a sudden the perch reacted like they were on camera.
Mm-hmm.
They stopped biting, and they shifted away, and my bite was over for there, and, I really had to toughen it out and try different techniques. A few techniques were to try to call them in with big flashy spoons, and then, you had to really try to get a subtle bite from them. So I was tipping it with, little waxies and whatnot, little morsels for these perch to seal the deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And we barely managed, Ben, to grind out 15 fish that day, but it was just the right 15 fish.
Yep. Yeah. Lots of... I was surprised when I went around and poked my head into the huts there and was talking to the guys. Just, you could tell as soon as that weather system moved in and the winds really picked up, it really affected the fish. Guys were having a really tough time out there. And then you get around to guys like you and some other guys that were able to hunker down and call the fish in. What does it take to be able to I guess it's an endurance thing, to be able to call fish in like that?
Well, it's not my way the water out there. I always like to be on the move. But, when it comes to ice fishing under extreme conditions, most of the time you have to let the conditions dictate what you're going to do for that day.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing I wanted to do was hunker down and just manage, to call fish in one by one and pick them off. I wanted to be able to run and gun, stay on top of the school, select my fish. But conditions dictated that I had to sit still. So you have to have time on the water to realize that, dunking little tiny minnows and stuff like that is not going to call fish over.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to deploy some techniques that are really flashy, really aggressive kind of techniques to call them in. Not necessarily getting the bites that way, but you're definitely calling fish over to your area.
Excellent. Now moving into day two. Day two was big fish. What did you have on your radar? What was your target species that you guys were going for?
Well, we were targeting lake trout and whitefish. I was set up right off the bat for whitefish, and we had my partner set up on lake trout. And what we wanted to do was to get our limits of each of those, and then swap positions or techniques and reverse, and catch the opposite species. Because the whole deal with this tournament is you have to get 2 fish of each species.
Mm-hmm.
Well, after that's done, you can fish for ling, and ling qualify as well. And there's no limit on ling, so you can keep catching them if you're on some ling and you can catch them. Well, that's going to win the tournament if everyone else is catching lake trout and whitefish as well.
There you go. Well, I know I poked my head into one clam shelter, and I got in out of the wind on day two, and it was still rough weather on day two. The winds kind of subsided, but they picked right back up again without missing a beat on day 2. And I hunkered down inside of a hut just to get out of the element, and that's exactly what he was going for was ling. And I thought, oh, please don't pull one of those fish up through the hole with me in the hut. I'd freak right out.
Yeah, those ling, everybody shuns them for their looks. But if you talk to anybody that fishes for ling, or anybody that knows of ling, or anybody that lives in the Simcoe area, they'll tell you that the ling is the most tasty fish in the entire lake.
That's what I said. I said, if you catch one, I have no problem eating it. They are fantastic
so it's a
to
catch
eat.
and release tournament.
That's true too. That's true too. And there were special points awarded to live release as well. I still have the rule package. It's quite in depth, and hats off to Rosa and the crew at Lures and Tours that put on this year's event. It was the 20th annual event, and you think that was key too at this year's event for Rosa. It says right in the package that everyone will receive something, and hats off to HT Enterprises and Rapella and Berkeley. Some great prizes. Everybody went away with some swag. Even I did. So
no, it was excellent to see, Ben. A lot of people were walking away with smiles, even though they didn't have the best fishing days. They were all walking away with something, and I believe people were walking away with a lot more than just something. There was multiple gifts given away to them.
Oh yeah.
Hats off to all the sponsors that helped us out there that day.
Matt, always a pleasure. Take care.
Thanks for having me, Ben. Take care.
Now it's time for On the Water with the Bassasins.
I am Rob, and you're on the water with the Bassasins. As you all know, winter seems like it's never going to let up. And with walleye season coming to an end, most anglers around here are wishing for open water. Our tip this week is to take advantage of the late ice and go find some teeth. This time of year is our favorite to target big pike in shallow water. As they put the feed bag on, hoping to add all the calories they can before spawning, they will eat anything that looks like food. Don't be afraid to lay your traps with big dead baits shallower than you ever have before. The results will surprise you. Now, it isn't always about the waiting game. This time of year is also great to target those big aggressive panfish in the same shallow waters. Makes for a killer day, warmer conditions, smashing perch while you wait for flags to fly. So stay safe, keep at 'em. Your best days on the ice could be right in front of you. Until next time on the water with the Bassasins right here on Ben McQuinney Outdoors. Tight lines.
You're listening to Ben McQuinney Outdoor Radio, proudly supported by Sound Express DJ Service in Ottawa. Like them on Facebook today. Fish Bum Outfitters, official apparel of Ben McQuinney Outdoor Radio. Fish Bum Outfitters, not your grandfather's fishing apparel. Change the way fish see you at fishbumoutfitters.com today.
All right, folks, welcome to Ben McQuinney Outdoor Radio, right here on the Reno Viola Outdoor Radio Network. My next guest is an intricate part to the Lake Simcoe Canadian Ice Fishing Championship. My next guest, Ken Hackenbrook, who's counselor of Georgina, Ward 4. Ken, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Well, it was a pleasure to meet you at the Canadian Ice Fishing Championships, and you have a little bit of a history with the organization and the event, don't you?
Well, we've been part of it since the beginning of it. It's us there with the Mayor and Council of the town of Georgina was part of it too, Mayor Rob Grassi, and a lot of other people too. But we had an awful lot of sponsors, of course, and meeting a lot of people from all over the place, including the United States, too, and that was fantastic to see those people.
And as we were saying, somebody was trying to get a hold of you, now somebody's trying to get a hold of me. We're very busy, aren't we? Now, what's the population of Georgina, Ken?
Well, town of Georgina?
Yeah.
47,000 people.
47,000 people.
I believe that's what it is, yes.
And at Jackson's Point, where the event took place, there's a lot of Canadian sport fishing history there. Could you tell us a little bit about the area and how fishing is been a mainstay for that area?
Well, I've been living up here since 1970, and I live down 500 feet from the lake. Just to give you an idea, Lake Simcoe here too, and we've always had our boats out in the water here by Georgina Island on the other side of it. Anyways, the whole town of Georgina, when you see the fishing and things happening, and a lot of people are very, very happy to come to this end of the town and to Del-Cel Park, and like in the summertime too, and Civil Point Provincial Park is thousands and thousands of people coming there all the time too in summertime, and there was the perch for MS was held at the Civil Point Provincial Park this year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nice, and that was fantastic again. So winter and summer, it's a wonderful place to go to. And so all the other places too, and Cook's Bay was a fantastic place, and they had thousands of people come. The people from way out west was out here coming here, and they have a big tournament there too in the winter time, and just thousands of people out there for one-day fishing. So, and that's in Cook's Bay and Keswick. But down up in this end of the town, you were talking about this end. You've got Del-Cel Park, Civil Point Provincial Park, and got Jerry Kaharchuk at Peninsula Motel, and all the ice fishing thing going on over that way too, towards Pefferlaw, all out to Lake Simcoe, which is fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Now, what kind of impact do these events have on the community as a whole, and how do you feel that communities can benefit by hosting these larger events?
Well, there are a lot of places up in here, like, for instance, the Briars is one, Lake Simcoe Arms is another one. You've got a lot of places like that up in this end of the territory, and you've got places in downtown Sutton too, and big places, and in Keswick you have some too, but the only motels around are in this end of town, or they can get them in 404 and Davis Drive. There's a big motel. They see a lot of people staying there, and then they come all the way up. It doesn't take them very far to come up to 404 into town of Georgina.
Mm-hmm.
But this place is totally loaded from all in Toronto coming up here, and especially in the summertime too. Especially like Civil Point Provincial Park is just completely always loaded. And they're bringing people in town all over Georgina, which is fantastic, and they love it here.
So, at any given time, at peak season during the winter time, like right now, I guess you could say it's peak season, because of all the good weather and ice that we've had this year. And then in the summer, what kind of population influx do you see in the community?
Population coming up?
Well, not population as per se population, but an influx. Like when I lived in Jasper, every season Jasper sees over 1 million people in a year.
Wow.
So
I'm not exactly sure of that, but the biggest population coming up here, as I mentioned to you too, is Civil Point Provincial Park.
Okay.
And that's right in just as you're coming through Sutton,
Mm-hmm.
and just going towards Pefferlaw, and it's Highway 18, which is also Park Road, and that's where they come in there, and my gosh, they're loaded all the way from down in Baldwin on a weekend there. They'll see them lined up there all the way there, right up the highway, blocking the highway, because everybody wants to come and enjoy the wonderful Lake Simcoe.
That's fantastic. Now, there was a special trophy given out at the Canadian Ice Fishing Championship. Could you give us a little history on that trophy, Ken?
Well, that was the Bill Bond Trophy, and this gentleman was a big part of the fishing up here and Canadian Fishing Championship stuff. And anyways, he had a business right at the corner of Dalton Road and High Street, and big gas business, and working with fixing bicycles in there for kids and all kinds of stuff like that. And he had a power washing your car, could get it done. son there too, and all things like that. But the family was very much involved in the going out to fishing, and it all started. They're going to start this. I forgot the year that it all started now, but I've been up here since 1970, and it's been going quite a long time. And anyways, they started doing this ice fishing thing, going the big Canadian one, and it just took off, and you got all these people coming from the States. Just fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
To see them, not only the States, from Toronto. Toronto don't have the wonderful things we have, and they want to get up here where it's a place to, beach-like,
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
So knowing we live on the beach and all the time of our lives here with our 4 kids, and we had and stuff like that, and so it's wonderful.
Great. Well, I look forward to coming down to Georgina again, maybe even in the summer, and we'll have to stop in at the Briars together and sample some of their table fare.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
All right. Well, Ken.
I'd love to have you. Remember, Rosie Sharp did a fantastic job here too.
Yes, she did. She did. I
really going to be a third one next year, and it's fantastic that she's done it with,
Oh, I couldn't believe the event. I wasn't sure what to expect when I got there, but it was absolutely what I expected when it was all said and done. So she did a fantastic job. Hats off to her and her Lures and Tours team and the folks that were controllers during the Canadian Ice Fishing Championship. They were there for safety as well as regulation, and it was great to have everybody involved in this year's Canadian Ice Fishing Championship, as well as Perching for MS that took place in still the same waters. So, Ken, that's all the time we have today, but thank you very much again for being my guest, and we look forward to seeing you again.
Thanks for inviting me to be part of your family.
Well, thank you very much, Ken. You take care.
All the best, yes. Bye-bye now.
If multi-species action is what you crave, catch it today at fishenvy.ca. Promoting the outdoors to women of all ages. Join today at OntarioWAA.ca. Zing the Bling at handlebarsmuskylures.com. Ben McQuinney Outdoor Radio, proud supporter of Muskies Canada Inc. If you're passionate about the outdoors and love muskie fishing, join today at muskiecanada.ca. Well, it's been a long March break here at Ben McQuinney Outdoor Radio, but we're glad to be back, and hopefully everybody is safe out there during the last bit of ice fishing. Stay tuned. Next week we have more coming up, recapping some of the shows, highlights, as well as other ice fishing events, and more industry tackle and tips along the way. Thanks for listening. Handlebars Musky Lures proudly presents Ben McQuinney Outdoor Radio on the Reno Viola Web Radio Network.